This is such a big thing, right?
Thank you.
Come on, Jim. Good morning, Colin.
Morning.
Thank you very much for coming on the show.
Hello and welcome to Qatar's first sports podcast, In the Game. I'm your host, Steve Mackey, and we can't wait to introduce you to everything that is sports here in Qatar and afar. We're going to be bringing you personalities, company owners, institutions, individuals that are making a real difference. So, with us, enjoy the journey.
Hello and welcome to In the Game, Qatar's first sports podcast. We have a very special guest. As I said, we have a special guest every week. This is no exception. It's great to have you here, Jaham.
Thank you.
Please introduce yourself. Tell everybody what you do.
All right. Well, I play golf. I am right now at a +1 handicap. I play for the national team. I play competitive amateur golf, not yet on tour. It's a dream of mine, but, I have a job. Other responsibilities come in, so that's on hold. But the dream is still there. Right now I work for Aspire Zone. Aspire Zone is a sports city in the heart of Doha. We have some of the state-of-the-art facilities. I graduated from Aspire Academy, which is actually a sports academy.
Very good.
It started in 2006.
It's an amazing place.
Yes, it
really
is
an amazing place.
Definitely is.
We brought 25 students over from the UK. I keep on saying this, but we brought 25 students. They were just blown away with the facilities there. It's incredible, right?
Yeah, it's huge. It's grand. Like we get a lot of visitors from around the world, from Real Madrid, from Barcelona, from the United States, and they have this idea, okay, they have Qatar, and they have this idea of it, and then Aspire, there's a reputation out there. But when they come there, they're still shocked and amazed
of course,
by how big the facilities are and how advanced they are in the training facilities, in the sports orthopedic hospital, Espitar, the technology behind everything.
It really is, and it's kind of testament to Qatar and what they're doing, because it's for everybody. They're supporting so many different people and so many different things. It's incredible. So you're a golfer. You play off +1. It's been a dream of mine to play off +1. I can only get to 17. Yeah. I was always a bit of a hacker. But again, there's tell us your story about how you got involved in, because it's I know the story.
Well, it started when I was young, at the age of 12, 13 years old. My brother we had after school activities like most British schools, and one of the activities was golf. I didn't know about it, but I would see my brother leave school on Tuesdays and Thursdays early. And I would talk to him. I was like, how'd you leave early? Like, the teachers just let you out? He's like, I just joined the golf club and they let me leave early. So I was like, okay, I'll try it out. And then I tried it out, and we had a coach. So I lived in Dakhan, which is the other side of Qatar. We had a coach that would come down from the golf club to train the students, and he saw that I had some potential, and he was like, why don't you come to Doha Golf Club and try out with the team and see how you like it. And then from there I just got hooked on the game, and then just got better and better.
Okay, so let's just reiterate that you started up the game of golf through bunking off lessons, basically.
Yep.
And then you found something that you truly love. And another thing that you told me is that last year you were part of you took part in the Masters.
In the Qatar Masters, yes, for the first time.
That must have been incredible for you.
Yeah, it was a good experience. So every year they have 2 spots for amateurs, local amateurs, trying to promote the sport. So because it's such a big event, it's a shame to not have a local participate in it. So they do qualifiers, and last year I qualified and I got to play. So it was a really good experience.
And what was it like the run up to that? So were you practicing or really focusing on it for how long out?
Well, I was in the States before, say 2016. And when I was in the States, I wasn't playing much golf because concentrating on university and just not much time. So when I came back, I had a lot of free time. And I was working out the gym there at the golf club. And I was like, I want to play golf again. So I started playing 2016 till 2017. And then I got better and better. I got my confidence back. And then the Qatar Open came up and they told me, okay, you're getting better now. top two spots, top two Qataris will get to participate in the Qatar Masters. I was like, okay, that's a goal. I'll have something to work for. And I just worked hard on it and I made it.
Yeah.
And we played in the Qatar Open, which was in January. And I came 9th. And that got me to qualify for the Qatar Masters.
Very good.
And before the event, I didn't think about how nervous I was going to be, because as a junior, I would play in big events. I would play in the World Amateur. I'd play in the Asian Games I played. So I didn't think that, I was like, okay, there's no sweat. You know, I won't be that nervous. But when I saw the pros and, you know, the atmosphere with the cameras, and there's a lot of journalists, you know, asking questions, and that really, like, I wasn't prepared for it. I got a little nervous after the first day. I played well, but it was a good experience.
Yeah, it must have been a good experience.
Yeah.
It's kind of, but it's how you can take those nerves in and play golf at the same time.
Yeah.
I know we were joking about me with whether I used to walk off in the middle if I had a bad hole. It's like you couldn't do that. The world was looking at you.
Yeah. Yeah, but it's part of the game. You know, you can't. It's such a long game. It's 5 hours, around 5 hours, and 18 holes, and each shot, you know, you could have 3 bad shots and have 1 good shot and still make a birdie. You know, you could have 3 great shots and then a couple bad shots and end up with a bogey, but you just have to keep your mind, you know, 1 hole at a time.
Yeah, and that's a good point for everybody out there.
Yeah.
It's kind of just focus. Don't always try to focus too far ahead, right?
Yeah, just 1 shot at a time, and, you know, whatever it throws at you, you just got to get past it.
With the golf side of things, who's your inspiration? Who's your golfer that you like the most?
Tiger Woods. I mean, it's maybe a little mainstream, but I grew up watching, you know, a legend.
Yeah.
And he was back at the time. People didn't really. I mean, they appreciated him because he was just breaking record after record. But watching him was like, so it was really inspirational. And then after this year, you know, he won the Masters again.
Yeah.
After his injury.
Yeah.
So it was really inspirational.
But he's kind of, I really admire him for coming back from what he came back from. Okay, he made mistakes like everybody. Everybody makes mistakes. He was in the spotlight more than the most.
Mm-hmm.
But he really fought back. And I used to go out with, you know, he used to have a caddy, the Walrus.
Mm-hmm.
I've gone out with him a few times up in Troon when I went to the Open when he was up there. But I wish him all the best, and I hope he does come back and beat all the records that's out there, because he is a tremendous guy.
Yeah, he's a living legend.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we were talking beforehand. Okay, so one of the biggest things that I did when I was starting up golf was the interlocking of the fingers. Mm-hmm. Okay, that really improved my game so much it was untrue. Mm-hmm. What are the kind of things that you could say to people that improved your game? Or what was the things that stood out for you that all of a sudden went from one stage to another?
I actually fitness. So people don't usually think that golf is a physical game, but if you're in better shape, you're going to be able to control your body more. And golf is such a, little, just 1 millimeter could put off your whole swing. So having that muscle memory and that muscle control, it really helps. So I think working out really helped me.
So that's the best message for people is for people that want to take up golf is just make sure that you try and be as fit as you can.
Yeah, but also something is to try not to hit the ball that hard, because it's not all about strength.
Yeah, let the club do the work. That's what everybody teaches you, right?
But usually people are just trying to hit the ball as hard as they can, and they get intimidated by seeing other people on the driving range who are swinging it so easy.
Yeah.
So they just try to hit it hard, and they lose control of their whole body. And
my favorite player was always Nick Faldo. And that
more
was
your time.
That was more my time. Yeah. But he was my hero, and I used to go out because I love golf. I got to be honest. I think golf is one of those great games of life. It's like you could go out and have the best round ever, and you can take the world on. The world is at your feet, and then you can go out the next day and think that you're going to do exactly the same, and it can absolutely crucify you. It's going to punish you in every way possible. But that's the love of golf, right? That is the love of golf.
Yeah, it could have a terrible round, but still have that one shot that made the round. You know, you'll remember that one good shot.
And I know that we spoke about this earlier. Was what type of clubs do you use?
I use Titleist AP1s as my irons, and then my woods are TaylorMade.
Right. Yeah. And they're coming on, because again, I keep on forgetting that I'm 53 years old. I really do. I see this person in the mirror, and it's the one that I was younger, you know. And I used to I could hit the ball a long way, but it was like, as you said, don't.
Yeah, it's not about power. It's not about strength.
Yeah, don't power it. Just kind of use it. But my putting was always, I was putting like an elephant. I was just, it was just going miles past.
Yeah, that's the most important. It's the hardest part, actually, of golf is putting and short game.
Yeah. Did you ever use any of the Big Bertha clubs, the Callaways?
Yeah, growing up. Callaway had when I was 15, 16, Callaway was probably the most popular driver, and then now TaylorMade has the best driver.
Yeah,
but it's all personal opinion. I think they're all the same at the end of the day, but it just depends on your swing. But I remember that Callaway came out with a square head driver.
Really?
Yeah, and it looked really funny, and it sounded really funny also, but I liked it.
Really?
Yeah, I would in my mind I'm like, okay, it's square, so it's gonna make the ball go straight.
I kind of the bubble shaft, the TaylorMade bubble shaft that came out. Can you remember that one?
Yes, I think
it was maybe
where they near the grip.
Yeah. So that was my dream. But I always used to have it wasn't a made. There wasn't any good make, but it was a 3 wood that I could hit that 3 wood from anywhere. I didn't need to tee it up. It was always. And I could even kind of draw it and
fade it,
and it was so good. But there was some, as I said, some days I couldn't even hit it.
We all have that one preferred golf club.
Which one is yours?
Well, it depends the stage of my game. Sometimes I used to like the Rescue, hitting my Rescue hybrid because I had an albatross with it once, so I just loved that one.
No way.
I still have that in my house. The TaylorMade. It was a TaylorMade. They just came out with it. Burner, I think.
I remember that.
Yeah, the burner.
I remember the burner.
So I like that club, and because you could hit the Rescue out of the rough, and in Qatar here we had a lot. The rough was really long back then,
right?
So it was difficult, and I would use it out of the sand, out of the rough. It was my go-to club.
It was, yeah. So you're again. I could talk about this for hours, but it is it's a top grade. Let's kind of let's move on to the facilities here now. You play at Doha Golf Club. That's been there for quite some time.
Yes, since the 90s. I don't know the exact date, but since the 90s.
And now we have the Golf Club
Education City. Yeah, I haven't played there yet or been there, but I followed them on social media.
Yeah,
and from what I've seen and from what I've heard, it looks really nice. And it's I think they claim that they're the best. The most high-tech or driving range in the world.
Yeah, I think. Look, there's a gimmick side of things. When I went back Farrington Golf Club, I used to work at, and we used to go around with the clicker tube. So we didn't have a proper driving range. We had a field in the beginning, and we'd go around and pick all the balls up and then wash them off, and people could hit them up the range. So when I say that at the golf club now, they've got balls that come up through the ground.
Yeah.
It's for me. It's
you don't even need to move; you just need to swing.
Yeah, exactly.
They made it so easy.
And people say, "Oh, it's so easy." Maybe it's taking it. No, it's not taking anything out of the game.
No.
It's kind of it's fantastic.
It's actually better for your back.
Yeah,
you don't have
exactly.
to bend over.
Yeah. So I like that side, but I was just taken back by it. And again, this goes back to Qatar as a whole. The way that they put things into place for people, and this is for the future. There will be a world class. You might be the world class golfer. Yeah, exactly. But they've got the facilities to enhance you, to kind of give you the best you possibly can. This place is unbelievable. You've got a kind of tilt and plate that's huge for the putting. So and then they shine light lasers across.
Of how it's gonna roll.
Yeah, and people say, well, isn't that making it a little bit easier? I was always the one when you lined your ball up for the pit, when you lined your ball up for the where it was going to go, the line, you got your line and you tried to
imagine it. Yeah.
Imagine it. Okay. How many times do you think you get down to the putt and you think to yourself, no, that's not the right one?
Always, yeah.
Always.
Yeah,
you
always.
think, I'll just move it. Just like, I think it's just a little bit, and you'll hit it.
And subconsciously, you'll just, even if you're like, okay, I'm going to stick to it, But once you think, okay, this might be a little off, then you're gonna do something subconsciously.
Exactly, and the kind of things they work out, whether you're putting too much weight on your back foot, your front foot, whether you're leaning backwards, whether you're on your toes, it's incredible. And they've got the indoor. Somebody said to me the other day, so the it's indoors. And you look at it and you say, well, it is, but you're shooting
outdoors. So it's like a garage. Yeah, you're like basically like a garage, and you have each driving range spot shoots out into the air, out to the range.
And they have got the latest technology, and they have got the latest. Again, on the driving range, they've got the plates that move backwards and forwards, so you could have a uphill lie, downhill lie, which is going to be incredible for golfers.
Because you rarely get on the course and have a shot where you're level. There's always going to be a slope. Yeah. So when you're on the driving range and you're always hitting flat shots, you get out on the course and then you're on a little slope and you don't know what to do. Yeah. You don't know how the ball is going to react.
No, and again, it's just as you said, it's making sure that your muscle memory. It's like it's so important because I joke about. We went to this. I'm sorry for telling you my stories, but we went to this. For the Education City Golf Club, and there were so many people around. Remember, there's people watching. I'm not a golfer, but there were so many people watching, and the guy said to me, he said, "Oh, here's it. I haven't touched the club for I don't know, maybe 3 or 4 years." He said, "Oh, go and have a quick," and I'm like, "Oh my god,
there's people around.
There's people around. Am I gonna shank it? Am I gonna kind of hook it? What am I gonna do? Am I gonna get it off the tee?" And then I just went back and I just thought, I used my professional back then was Peter Thompson, and he used to say, "Look, just go through the method, just go through the procedure." And I went through the procedure and I hit it right out the middle. And that feeling is
it's the best. That. Yeah, it's the best feeling once you hit a good shot.
Yeah. So you're kind of, when are you going to, I know that you've had a bad shoulder. Yeah. So when are you going to get back into the golfing side of things?
Well, I did my surgery on May 28th of this year. It's been almost 3 months. And the physical therapy is 8 weeks. So 8 weeks of just, getting the movements and everything. And then hopefully by November, I'll be able to swing. I've tried, even though my physical therapist told me not to. I've tried to go out there in the golf club and try to hit some golf balls, but it was not a good idea. I felt the pain. But, I'm actually getting my physical therapy at Qatar, and it's all covered through the Olympic Committee. And it's maybe the best physical therapy you can get in the world. So hopefully with them, I'll be able to get back and maybe even stronger.
Yeah, because again, that's a good point that you're bringing up. Because again, look, I think that sometimes that Qatar gets a bad shake. They people talk about or they emphasize these other things that doesn't really matter. There are important things, and that's a good thing about Qatar because they deal with it. Mm-hmm. If there's a problem, they deal with it. Mm-hmm. They kind of try and find a solution. But they're also thinking about the future of everybody. They're looking at it, and so we're talking about Aspetar. Mm-hmm. Aspetar is one of the leading sports therapies that you can have in the world. There's sportsmen that come from, and sportswomen that come from all over the world.
Yep, and physicians, even the surgeons, they come and they come for like a week, 2 weeks. They do their surgeries here and they leave. I think a month ago we had Neymar over, and he came to do physical therapy because of his injury. Drogba was here. There was a basketball player, Embiid from the NBA. He came to do his physical therapy here, and they come and they give him, I don't know if it's free treatment, but it's like sort of they request it. People from around the world request to come here. It's not like we are trying to get these people to come here at like a marketing scheme. You know?
And okay, so it's phenomenal, and we're going to only briefly touch on this because but you're part of a very it's a growing industry here, which is sports. Yep. And you're being involved in here. You're in sports and everything virtually. Yeah. And they're going to be it's going to be like an incubation. Tell us more, just a little bit.
All right. So I'm the general secretary for the steering committee of the Sports Accelerator. It is a business hub for sports, basically. So we want to have all these multinational companies come from around the world and be in the heart of Aspire Zone, which is a sports city, and do business. So, and part of it is Qatar Sports Tech, which is a incubator which is done by Qatar Development Bank, where they incubate companies. They go around the world, they do scouting, and then they incubate them for 3 months. I don't know exactly what the program is, but I think it's 3 months, and then after that they find angel investors for them, and so they just choose what companies they see potential in.
And again, this is groundbreaking. Right? There's a lot of places that are doing it around the world, but to this extent, it is groundbreaking, and people. Qatar is changing on a regular basis, and this is just one of those big changes. QDB are doing amazing things. Yourself are doing amazing things. QFC is doing.
QFC is also a partner.
Exactly, and then
this sports tech.
Yeah, everybody's got the ambition to really kind of open the door so that Qatar can be the place for people to come, and it really has got a massive opportunity. But the things that you're doing here are just
pioneering.
Yeah. And your family is they're in all the different sections. You're pushing as much as possible.
Yep, they're everywhere.
Yeah. So it's quite incredible what's happening. What's your dream for the future? What is your ultimate dream? What is your kind of goal that you want to achieve?
Golf or
anything for you?
Well, I want to try and play on the MENA tour one day, on the Middle East, North Africa tour.
Okay.
And become a professional golfer. Hopefully I can it shouldn't take me a year or two to get back after recovering from the injury. But inshallah, that's a goal of mine. And then also my career, I don't want to put that aside, but I want to, go further with my career and make a difference, in Qatar.
I think you're making a difference already. I think I'm going to ask you a question in a minute, but I just want to keep on touching on this subject. You're doing a remarkable thing with showing the way from a golfing perspective. But again, we briefly touched on it. The opportunity you've got to make a really big difference now with the sports accelerator. The
Definitely
is going to be incredible. It's you're going to be touching shoulders with some of the biggest companies that on a global basis.
Yeah, definitely. For the sports accelerator, I think for it to be successful, or something that will indicate that it's successful, is to have economic impact.
Yeah.
And so it can actually contribute to Qatar national vision and diversifying Qatar's economy from the oil and gas into the private sector.
Yeah.
And I think sports will play a big role. We have the World Cup coming up. We have in September the World Athletics Championship. There's so much that comes, so many aspects of sports that, like marketing, facility management, fan engagement. So there's all these companies that can come and set up in Doha. And if they're here, they will contribute to diversifying Qatar's economy.
Yeah, without a shadow of a doubt. And I suppose as you were just touching on those subjects, I noticed one thing that we didn't even lead off with the World Cup. Everybody thinks, the World Cup is going to be and it is, without a shadow of a doubt. The World Cup is the World Cup. It's going to be an amazing experience, but it's not Qatar's. There's a Qatar vision.
Yeah, it's part of the vision.
It's part of the vision, and it's beyond the World Cup. It's and that's what everybody's planning for, and it's very important for companies that realize this. We're not Qatar. I say we're not. Qatar is not just there just because of the World Cup. Qatar is there for its people and the people that come here. I remember the Emir when he was standing up in the UN, and there was tingles on the back of your neck where he looked up and said, "I want to thank
the people and the residents." Yeah.
Yes. And he looked up and he said, "I want to thank you for the difficult times that we went through because you stood with us."
Yeah.
And it's like, that's what, when people realize that, that's what makes Qatar special. That's what makes Qatar special. So one other thing before we go, I want to what would you give if anybody wanted to be a golfer, or a young person that wanted to be a golfer? What advice would you give them?
Practice. Always practice, no matter what, and chase your dream. Definitely.
Yeah.
Because, some things may seem, far-fetched, or some things like golf. Growing up in Qatar, not many people play golf, and people would tell me, why do you play golf? Old people play golf. It's not our sport, play football.
Yeah.
But I just loved golf, and I did what I loved, and I got good at it, and it opened so many opportunities for me.
Yeah. And again, I congratulate you. It's kind of, as you said, because it's not easy when everybody's telling you to go in a different direction.
Yeah.
And it's not just that. From you're an incredible person that I've got to meet over these last few weeks, and you really have got a real good story. You're going to be, and I hope more people get involved in golf, because it's a fantastic sport to be involved in, and it's so social, and it's kind of so developing for your individual and your how you're dealing with your mind and how you're dealing with the shots and things like that. But you're not just doing that, and it's like you're not just looking at that and saying, "Oh, I'll be all right with the golf." You're looking up and saying, "Okay, how could I improve things? How can I do things here that's going to improve things?" And the type of things that you're working on is incredible. And honestly, I really do wish you the very best in your. And I hope that our friendip is going to go on for quite some time.
And we'll play some golf.
Yeah, and we'll play some golf.
Definitely, but you can't walk off. You can't walk off.
I promise you, I'm not going to walk off. I used to love golf for fun. I as I told you before, we used to do things, stupid things like, and I don't say this for everybody to do, okay? But there was, when we were in the buggies, we would undo the straps so that when they go around the corner, the clubs would go all over the place. And we would have, by the lakes, we would have little frogs. We shouldn't have done this because it was very bad for the frogs. But then we would put the frogs into the bag, and they would go in and get another ball. Oh my word, it was fantastic. So we had some really good fun, and it's kind of, I hope more people take up the game of sport, because it is an incredible game. So all it is for me to do now is say thank you very much for listening, everyone. I just want to finish up here and just finish to those people that are considering taking up golf. Okay, listen to Jaham's listen to his advice. Okay, when people do, and you've heard this from most of our guests, when you want to do something and you want to do it from your heart, go and do it. Don't care what anybody says to you about going in a different direction. Make sure that make sure that you can go out there and you fight for everything you want, because everything's possible. And there are people out there that will help you and support you. So don't ever lose that hope, okay? Thank you so much today. It was an absolute pleasure.
It's a pleasure.
Everyone, thank you for listening. Thank you for coming for next time. Until then, bye-bye for now.